Hi, I've been waiting for you. Our question for today is, what was the Martin Barnhouse meetings about? Dr. Donald Grey Barnhouse was the editor of the Evangelical Eternity magazine. Mr. Walter R. Martin was an assistant editor of the same. About the years 1954 to 1956, Martin and Barnhouse attended hundreds of hours of secret meetings with Seventh-day Adventist General Conference leaders. The purpose of these meetings was to answer the question, are Seventh-day Adventist Christians? And I'll tell you something, you want to ask a question like that, you better be ready to give an answer for what your measurement is. What are your standards? What rule are you using to measure with? And that is the big problem here. Martin and Barnhouse contended that the Seventh-day Adventists held cult beliefs, strange ideas, and mocked those beliefs. They held up their own standards of faith as needing to be met, or the Seventh-day Adventist Church could not be considered to be Christian. The Seventh-day Adventist General Conference leaders bowed to the evangelicals' demands to change the Seventh-day Adventist doctrinal positions to be in harmony with what evangelicals consider to be the truth. Just of itself, on the surface, this is extremely crazy. Why would the Seventh-day Adventist leadership in the mid-50s dare to allow others, not even of our faith, to come in and force changes in our doctrines? All you have to do is go back to the Old Testament and read about the rebellions of the Jews. We are no different today. And now it's 60 years, some 60 years since that happened, and everything, those doctrinal changes are more deeply entrenched than you can believe. Why? Because Satan is behind it all. But what really happened? Knowing what I know now, certainly agents of Satan were in charge, and that is why they were so ready for this to happen and followed along like obedient sheep. It's Satan's plan to totally control the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and that is exactly what has happened. And that is why the church organization is a hierarchy, which is opposed to and at war with the way Christ set up his church with the apostles before he returned to heaven. I recently went on Facebook to look up an old acquaintance, and there he was in all his glory. He was a Seventh-day Adventist pastor, and on his Facebook, he was wearing a Catholic collar, Catholic priest's collar to be exact, and I think they call it a choleric collar. Anyway, the apostasy is getting quite deep. Sometime after 1957, the book Questions on Doctrine was published, with the new evangelical doctrines included, which displaced the doctrines of the true pioneers, the true Advent faith. However, long before that, in 1898, the year of my original Desire of Ages was printed. That book is full of error that is in harmony with Satan's plan. Watch the next video as we cover this one a little more closely. Today, you can go to this link. It's going to be in the description, and you need to click on that. But this link is the official press release position of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and it proclaims right in the center of the first paragraph, we are a mainstream Protestant church. Is that what you are? Are you a mainstream Protestant? Seventh-day Adventists are not supposed to be mainstream Protestants. We have a unique position. I was recently given a devotional from the church, and in that book, they mentally stroked the readers to make them think that the church still is unique. But those who wrote that devotional took part. Yeah, they took a part in making that statement. We are a mainstream Protestant church. In 2 Corinthians 6:17, it states, wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. And if you will not come out, you will not be received. Think for yourself. You must come out of her, my people. Remember, membership means support. If you have membership in that church, you are partaker of her sins, and you will share in her plagues. Letters and Manuscripts, page 205. Manuscript number 5 in 1850 tells us that since all Seventh-day Adventists have been baptized as a door into the church, they need to be rebaptized out of that church and into the Advent faith. And you can read that for yourself. The links will be in the description of how to get that book. God bless your study.